Hello, hello, and welcome. Now, Chris Rock, in a shocking move, he says, Democrats let the pandemic come in while pushing impeachment. This is brought to us by Breitbart News. I'm going to hit up the New York Times article where this appeared as well, but just wanted to go over this quickly. It says, in a surprising accusation from a major Hollywood figure, comedian Chris Rock is holding Democrats responsible for the spread of coronavirus, saying party leaders, quote, let the pandemic come in while they were busy pushing the ultimately unsuccessful impeachment of President Donald Trump. Now, I tend to agree with this sentiment. Furthermore, Chris Rock made the accusation in a wide-ranging interview with the New York Times in which he also discussed President Trump and the use of blackface in entertainment. Now, we're going to hit on that, like I said. We're going to check out that article. Not going to hit on a lot of it, mainly because a lot of it's talking about filming Fargo with the pandemic and all that nonsense. But yeah, he says it was totally up to Pelosi and the Democrats. Their thing was, we're going to get him impeached, which was never going to happen. You let the pandemic come in. Yes, we can blame Trump, but he's really the 5-year-old, Rock said. Now, we are going to go over to the New York Times article to kind of put that into context. So yeah, this article, like I said, went through a lot of, Fargo stuff, looked at all these questions about all of that and what happened. But we eventually get to this point where they say, you performed at one of Chappelle's live shows in July. What was that like for you? He describes his experience there. He says, ring crowds are always good. But then they go on to ask, what did you talk about there? And this is where it gets into, the political stuff. He says, I talked about our political whatever, America. Part of the reason we're in the predicament we're in is the president's a landlord. No, no one has less compassion for humans than a landlord, which, it's seen that firsthand. That's not completely untrue. And he says, and we're shocked he's not engaged. So yeah, Chris Rock doesn't have a lot of strong feelings here for Republicans or Democrats, which is understandable, again. So he says, did you ever see the movie The Last Emperor? Now this is where the 5-year-old reference comes in. He says, where like a 5-year-old is the emperor of China. There's a kid and he's the king, so I'm like, it's all the Democrats' fault because you knew that the emperor was 5 years old. And when the emperor is 5 years old, they only lead in theory. There's usually an adult who's like, okay, this is what we're really going to do. And then it was totally up to Pelosi and the Democrats. Their thing was, we're going to get him impeached, which was never going to happen. You let the pandemic come in. Yes, we can blame Trump, but he's really the 5-year-old. Now that's more context for that reference. He says, put it this way. Republicans tell outright lies. Democrats leave out key pieces of the truth that would lead to a more nuanced argument. In a sense, it's all fake news. Now that I can't completely disagree with that either. The only thing I would say is I think he has that kind of flip there. In my experience, it seems like the Democrats are usually telling outright lies, and the Republicans are kind of leaving out key pieces to win you over to their side. But that's just me. Everyone has their own experience. Everybody sees things the way they want. And they continue to ask more questions about the tambourine. But yeah, they go on to talk about blackface as well, which is something that I like to, well, not something I like to talk about, but something I would like to put into perspective here. But up here he says, yeah, racism is real, it's not going away. He said, I said this before, but Obama became president. It's progress for white people, it's not progress for black people. Now, this is a kind of a twisted perspective on things, I think. He says it's the Jackie Robinson thing. It's written like he broke a barrier, as if there weren't black people that could play before him, and that's how white people have learned about racism. He says they think when these people work hard enough, they'll be like Jackie. And the real narrative should be that these people, the black people, are being abused by a group of people that are mentally handicapped. And we're trying to get them past their mental handicaps to see that all people are equal. Now, this is, yeah, I completely disagree with this statement, mainly because, yeah, I don't have the black experience. But I've been in a lot of quote unquote black spaces. I've been around a lot of black people. I work with a lot of black people. There's a lot of black people in my social circles, and I've been at black family dinners pretty frequently. Yeah, I know. Just a token white guy. I don't know what I'm talking about, but hear me out. Hear me out. I don't see it this way, not at all. From what I've seen, at least, in my bubble, I guess, from my perspective, we've had equality for some time. Now, I think there's a lot of people who don't want to admit that for one reason or another. Some people just like to be the victim. Some people, if they don't have something to blame their problems in life on, then, well, of course, they'll have to focus that lens back on themselves. And nobody wants to blame themselves, right? Whereas others, I think, are actually, making money off of the race baiting thing. It's in some people's best interest to keep racism alive, simply so they will still be able to, collect fees for going and making speeches at colleges and whatnot. It's their business. It's their business. Racism is their business. So why would they want to see it die out, And it's a sad state of affairs. But from what I've seen, for the most part, we've had equality for some time. And I think we're really going backwards now, trying to make that not so. They asked this next question. Jimmy Fallon drew significant criticism this past spring for a 20-year-old clip of him playing you in blackface on Saturday Night Live. How did you feel about that segment? He says, hey man, I'm friends with Jimmy. Jimmy's a great guy, and he didn't mean anything. A lot of people want to say intention doesn't matter, but it does. And I don't think Jimmy Fallon intended to hurt me, and he didn't. And see, this is another thing that is really just kind of irritating to see, and it's upsetting. Comedy is really under attack. You have to be really careful as a comedian these days because, there's old jokes that they're not funny anymore. They make you an instant racist. They will kill your career. But, Chris Rock is one of those people who can at least look at this situation and say, look, it was a bit. He was just doing a bit. It wasn't racist. It was just a bit. It was a bit to make people laugh. And people forgot how to laugh. That's really sad to me. Next, they asked, there's been a wider push to expunge blackface from any movies or TV show where it previously appeared. Have people taken it too far? And Chris Rock responds, if I say they are, then I'm the worst guy in the world. See, now this is something to pay attention to. What he's basically saying here is, I got one answer that's correct. Any other answer will end my career. So this is what I'm saying. He says there's literally one answer that ends my whole career. Yeah. Blackface ain't cool. Okay. That's my quote. Blackface is bad. Who needs it? It's so sad we live in a world now where you have to say, I am so against cancer. I just assumed you liked cancer. No. I am so against it. You have to state so many obvious things you're against. And that's the thing, right? That's the thing. And he's absolutely right on this. This is what I mean. Like, some people have different perspectives on different things. And on this particular subject, I think Chris Rock is very much correct. Everybody, every decent person is against racism. Every decent person, is for equality. That's not something that you should have to say. That's not something that you should have to prove because you did a comedy sketch once where there might have been blackface involved or something like that, or you dressed up in a Halloween costume. It's a joke. It's a joke. People forgot how to laugh. And that's the problem. But, yeah, man, let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. I'm interested to hear your take on it. Also, if you're not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, become a member of the gays community, join me here, and hit that notification bell so you'll get alerts for anytime videos and live streams go live. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.